Hello, friends and followers. Well, I was lucky enough via Nick to acquire this Drake DSR-1. It's a very rare radio. There's not much written about it, and I've downloaded the manual, and it describes the circuits very succinctly, but it doesn't describe how to fix the tuning. So this thing has an analog VFO in it, and that's typical Drake. Synthesizer and the analog VFO. So analog means it's not digital. It's a tuning capacitor and an oscillator. So, yep, that's what Drake does or did. This thing's like circa 1971. Anyway, when I got this thing, I fired it up and I was tuning with it, and it did work. And then it just kind of stopped tuning, and it grinded. And I thought, oh my God, I broke it. But didn't break it. Anyway, you can take the bottom off, and here's the VFO here. This one had a little circuit board stuck on it. It's weird. It almost like it's a prototype or something, but it had this little card stuck on it. So I'll put this little card back on it. But this has been a real barrel of snakes to figure out. And so I'll go through what I had to do. I've probably spent 3 hours on this thing. The first couple hours were futile, but it eventually made sense. So what makes this thing go, it's a lot like a Hammerland, where these two plates have to be expanded out, and they weren't that way when I got it. These plates were compressed in, and you couldn't even tell these were two plates. And so with that, it can't really grip. So it grips via these plates being compressed a bit by a groove down here. It's hard to see, but I've been working on this thing for a while. And there's a little groove way down in there that grips these things. So this thing was all misaligned when I got it. The groove wasn't really correct. And someone had moved these plates to kind of rub against the groove on the left side, but they were not expanded. So, wow, what can I say about this? Here's how I finally fixed it. The first thing I did was I got this disc to line up with the little pulley down there, which you can't see, I apologize. So you take this little, boy, I got no light here at all, do I? Let's get some light in here. All right, there's some light. So you want to get a little tiny Allen wrench. I'm not even sure what size it is, but I had one on hand. And loosen up these discs and get them lined up with that little pulley down there. And you might find these are totally compressed together, which they'd be slipping, as this one was. And then the actual knob here is typical Drake-esque. You can see it's got some end play there. I'm moving it. And they have a little bearing that you can get to from the top side with an Allen wrench. And that bearing is a thrust bearing. So you can tighten that and get the shaft to not move. It's much like a TR7 or a Drake TR4. It's exactly the same theory. So it's hard to show that. I'll show it on the top side later, but the way I got this thing tightened up, before I understood how this worked, and actually, that could be why it's binding. It's binding once in a while. So what I did was I took the knob off, and there's a nut here, and I was able to, you can move this assembly up and down a bit. So I moved it up to give it compression, as I didn't know about this yet. And then I was able to loosen this nut here and move the tuning capacitor a bit. And so I was trying to get this to press as hard as I could against the little pulley down there, the little groove pulley, thinking that would be good. But what finally fixed this thing was I finally figured out, oh, this is two different discs that should be expanded. So I basically just got a screwdriver finally into these things because they were tight together, and really gave them a real tug. So I was able to get a screwdriver in these things and just give them a really thrash, thrash them way out. And that fixed this damn thing finally. So once you get these discs all linear, so they all look the same, I had to bend these really out hard to get them to stay. But once you do that and make it look the same and get that gap correct, the thing will track. So now the trouble I have with it is that when I get a certain spot, it's hard to turn. And I think that's due to, well, now it's working well. No, there, it's stiff right there. So to fix that, I'm thinking this shaft was bent, and I had to unbend this shaft. So I got a hammer and a screwdriver, and I had to go way down in there and give it a good whack. And I finally got the shaft to unbend a bit. It didn't, it was bent by a 1/4 millimeter or something. Anyway, it's still binding right about there. So all I'm going to do now is take a 14 millimeter wrench, which isn't the right size, and I'm going to loosen up the capacitor here and just let it float. And turn that. It's still binding a bit. You can see the capacitor is moving, so it's reacting. I'm thinking there, if I just let it float and give it some slack and tighten it back up, it'll fix itself because the capacitor would have moved up slightly. Let's see what that does. I saw it move a little bit. No, it's still binding. Binding a little bit. But can I use the little twirly thing here? And this thing never stops. You can just whirl it through its entire motion. There's no stops on it. But it does get stiff right about there. I don't like that at all. It's scary. So if I loosen the capacitor up, let's see if it gets stiff or not. Loosen it up and twirl it through. Now it's not, well, a little stiff there. So actually, I'm going to get my hand in there and pull the capacitor up a little bit. Because now it tracks real nice. You can see the capacitor just buzzing through there. And that's how it should work, just like that. That's how it works. I could take the knob off and then unloosen the big nut and move that around. Maybe I should do that, but it's really working well now. I didn't think I would ever fix this thing. I was like, this is hopeless. But no, it just takes time to understand. And this is like a Hammerland here where it's gripping and you gotta expand those plates. And that's really all it is. It's a spring action of compressing these that gives it a grip. And you shouldn't oil these at all. These things were like oiled to death. So you can tell there's oil right there. You want to get all that off of there. See that oil and grease crap? You want to not have grease in this thing at all. You don't want it to slip. And that's that. Yeah, it's got grease all over it, doesn't it? It's all greased up. Somebody greased it, so you don't want it greased. Well, it's going smooth now. I'm going to try and wiggle it around so it's smooth and stay smooth while it's tightened up. You don't want to have this thing moving around. I guess I could leave that thing, but you can see the wires are moving and it's going to eventually wreck the VFO. All right, that's my video. So let's recap how to fix this thing. First of all, look at this thing, and if these plates are compressed, you gotta shred them apart and get about 1 millimeter between them so it can track. You want to make sure the pulley on way down in there is tracking on those plates right in the middle, where this one was not. So I'm trying to show you that pulley down. Okay, there it is right there. Yeah, see that little pulley? That's moving there. You shouldn't put oil on that, but someone did anyway. You could put oil on the end of it where it hits the thrust bearing. So that's thrust bearing right there. And I'll show you a little Allen wrench I have on the upper side to tighten that up. But you could put some oil in that thrust bearing. That's a good idea. And you should oil the bearing here. There's a couple bearings that should get oiled there. That one right there, all little ball bearings. So you can put some grease in there, but don't grease this wheel. Just don't grease this. That'll cause it not to work. It won't grip. I guess you could put some grease in those bearings down there, like you can see on the left. So it's skipping a little bit, but it's tracking. And so this is infinite. You can just turn this thing and it just goes around. That's how it should work. Spin the crap out of it. It should just work. All right. So thanks for watching. Yeah, it's a real chore. You have to loosen up this big knob and get some tension, but not too much because it'll bind. The most important takeaway is take a little oil off this thing and expand these plates, and that is what gives you the grip. Was these are expanding, and that little pulley down there contracts them, and that gives you the grip. There's nothing to do with the edge of these things hitting down there. I mean, that's what how people think it works, and that's how I thought it worked. But you can see these are all chewed up because people tried to make it grip using the edges. That's not how it works. It grips using these edges here, right here. It grips here. And these are expanded and they spring shut. It's quite ingenious and it's quite hardy. So enjoy. Whoa. Yeah, it's kind of binding there. So that's probably because, well, this little shaft is probably a little bit bent or out of alignment. But it's tolerable. I mean, wow, this thing ought to fire right up. Thank you, Nick. You've made my day with this baby. This is a cool radio, man. I love the Nixies. It has a little switch back here. And I'm thinking that switch, I don't know if it blanks out the Nixie tubes when it gets to one end. But this thing, you couldn't really tune it to one end. It really didn't... it didn't make any sense. It was all screwed up, so it's still binding a bit. Okay, I'm gonna send this video. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Again, this is a Drake DSR-1, supposedly bought by governments and used by spies and stuff like that. So a rare little radio, but I sure love the Nixie tubes on it. I think I got it working now. At least I have it working well enough that I can align it, or just use it and see what it does. All right. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.